Hi there. Today we'll talk about chicken coops and chicken coop design. I think that freaked everybody out a little bit. So the things that I wish I had known, and had I known I might do differently, but I'll also talk about some of the design features I like about our coops. So what you're looking at is actually our second coop. Lessons learned. We made the mistake the first time around of ordering a prefab coop, even though all the bloggers said don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, just build your own. We thought, you know, we're not carpenters, so we didn't listen and bought a free prefab coop, and we're making the best of it now. I'll show you that later, but this was our second coop. Again, because we didn't fancy ourselves contractors. We ordered it and paid an arm and a leg, but it's a great coop, and now having put it together, we certainly could have done it ourselves. Lessons learned. Anyway, what I like about this is we live in a subdivision, so we don't have a lot of property, and we do have predators just like everybody, so it's got a nice attached run to it. So I really like that feature. It also has windows on all four sides of the coop. It's super important, especially in the summertime. So you can get that nice cross ventilation, that nice circulation to keep your birds cooler in the summer. And then in the wintertime, it just has these latches. So you can prop the windows open in the summer and make sure that they're closed and secured for the winter. So I like that. The other thing I like is that it's got, the back opens completely, double doors. If you think you're ever going to have a clean chicken coop, think again. It's like the grossest thing in the world, looking inside a chicken coop, which is another reason why I like that my birds live outside. So it's pretty simple though. It's got a roosting bar. It houses 7 chickens, full-size standard birds, comfortably. Right now I've got 5 in here. We've got our nesting boxes. There's 2, but honestly they were fighting over the same one, as you all know. So I took the divider out, and it's just one big community box. Put some curtains in there so that they could have some privacy when they're laying their eggs. And then the nice thing is about this coop design is the nesting box isn't like my prefab coop where the lid opens up, because you know you've got a lot of snow on there. What are you going to do? If you lift it up and it's going to go right into the coop. This one is really nice because it's got a latch, and then the door drops down for easy egg collection. Oh, and there are eggs, so why don't we collect those? So this is kind of a funny story. So just like everybody else, it's winter and my birds have been molting, and they're done with their molt, but and of course stopped laying because they were molting. And so I thought, oh my gosh, great time, they're not laying anyway, why don't we deworm the girls? This is from my barred rock, Wilma. So yeah, I thought I was really smart, being really smart. I'll deworm the girls. They're not laying anyway. It's a 14-day egg withdrawal period. Oh, that's gross. Doesn't matter, it's going out anyway. And why, you ask? Because I just finished the second cycle of deworming yesterday, as a matter of fact. So now my 14-day cycle can begin. So all these wonderful, beautiful eggs, as much as it pains me, has to be thrown away for 2 weeks. But that's okay. At least they're starting to lay again, which is good. In 2 weeks I'll be able to save my eggs. And so we're definitely rationing at the moment. So that's some of the design features I like about this coop. It's got the double doors, so you just close one side, you latch it, and then you can close the other side. One thing I will mention is litter. I think most people probably start off with pine shavings as litter, and I was no exception. And I really, about a year or so ago, I finally took the plunge was reading a lot about people who just raved and raved about sand as their litter and how easy it was. And I thought, I gotta try it because this is just so gross to me and so disgusting to me. And so I tried sand in both my coop and my runs. And honestly, I will never look back. The only reason I have pine shavings in here right now is because it's the middle of winter and I'm having a weather stripping issue up here. So I need some time this spring to adjust it. And my sand was getting really wet anytime we'd get a heavy rain. And what's weird is it didn't really happen during the summer. So I don't know if it's because in the summer the wood was swelling and filling in that hole. Don't know. But I have some work to do this spring with my weather stripping. And so that's the only reason. And it pains me to do it that I put pine shavings in here because it's super gross. I have never mastered the deep litter method. I know a ton of people do and they love it and they swear by it, and I have tried and tried and tried, stirring it every day, adding dry when it looks like it needs to. I've just never mastered it. So I will show you how easy sand is to maintain as we talk about that later. But yeah, so I'm right now doing pine shavings, not loving it, but till I figure out my weather stripping problem, that's what we're having to deal with in this coop. So close that up. It's latched. So anyway, then we have this door where I can enter the run. And if we look in at the run, it's funny, if you've been keeping chickens for a while, you probably would agree with me that your modifications are never done. So while this coop came to us in pieces and we just put it together, you think it would be as simple as that. I definitely have some modifications I'd like to make. Well, first of all, big mistake, painting my ladder white. Don't ever do that. Super disgusting. So this spring we're going to be taking that ladder out, and Noah and I are going to build a ramp. It's just too bulky. I mean, literally, I can just kind of stand in there. It's very awkward to clean because the ladder's just smack dab in the middle. And if I had it to do over, I would have ordered it with the door on one side, so the ladder wasn't taking up the whole middle of the run. It would have been off to the side. I think that would have been much more functional. So I could have cleaned much easier. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to build a ramp with hooks on the ramp and rings attached to the coop under the door so that I can remove it very easily while I clean and pop it right back into place. So that's my the only solution I can come up with at this point. So the other thing we're going to do this spring, when we built this, my husband built me some feeders, some gravity feeders, which I love, but I did have a problem last summer with humidity. We live in Illinois, so it gets kind of humid in the summer, and I think my connectors at the bottom are maybe a little too narrow, so we're going to make some adjustments there. I might make the feeder just a whole lot bigger in circumference, as well as the openings at the bottom. We'll see if that does better. I've got a feeder in the other run, a grandpa's feeder, which the jury's still out on that one. We just got it a couple weeks ago, and we're still in the training process, but I just don't know if I have room in this run for even the standard small-sized grandpa's feeder. So I don't know that that's going to be an option in this coop, in this run. We'll see. But anyway, so those are just some of the features, my favorite features of my expensive coop. You'll also notice the roof. I've got ridge venting up there, which is great in the winter time. It gets them ventilation, which is super important, but no draft on the birds. In order to have healthy birds in the winter and prevent frostbite, you need to have ventilation. This window never closes because my motor for my automatic chicken doors is behind it, but I think that's a good thing. There's no draft on the birds ever, and it gets them just the right amount of circulation, so we don't have a frostbite issue in this coop. The other thing we've done is we've winterized this coop. We have contractor's plastic all around 3 sides. I don't have it on this side because it's sheltered. It faces north and it's sheltered by our pool shed. And then I also have access to the birds and see what they're doing, what's going on in there if I need to. But that contractor's plastic on at least the 3 sides is super important. The girls need to be able to get out when they can't get out because there's so much snow on the ground. They need to be able to move around in an area where they have a wind block. So that's very helpful to have that for them. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate the eggs. I think you guys are smiting me, though. Suddenly we're starting to get eggs from this coop. It would figure. That's my luck as soon as I deworm the girls. So it definitely pains me to have to throw away their eggs, but pretty soon, 2 weeks, and then we'll be able to keep their eggs. So anyway, the last thing I wanted to mention, we've got a lot of, as I mentioned, a lot of work to do in this coop this spring. In the springtime, we usually have to rototill up the sand. This particular coop or run, we have to actually take all of this out because they have just dug and dug and dug so much in here that they've really mixed in the under layer of dirt into the sand. So once that happens, your ground starts freezing, and it's just not easy to clean. When it's rock hard in the winter, it's just a nightmare. So this spring we're going to rototill this entire thing up. We're going to shovel it all out. I'm hoping to go down at least 4 to 6 inches if I can. 6 inches would be great. And then we're going to fill all of that with sand. So I'm trying to get as much dirt out of here as possible because the sand will drain much better and you don't run into an issue with sand freezing. So it'll still stay mobile through the winter and make it so much easier to clean in the wintertime. I don't have that problem in the summer. Super easy to clean in the summer. It's just, I struggle in the wintertime. So like I said, adjustments you'll find. There's always adjustments that you want to make, things that will, after doing this for a while, you'll see that if you make just minor little adjustments, it'll just make your life a whole lot easier. So that's what we're still dealing with. So before we go, we'll go say goodbye to the other girls. I've got to bring the scoop back into their run. So this was the run we built this summer. Because of course, chicken math, it's a real thing. And yeah, this is my husband, who's not a carpenter, built this. It's wonderful. I love it. It's 8 foot by 8 foot. And again, we've got the contractor's plastic all around. On this run, kick off my boots. Okay, excuse me, Rach. So here's what I was talking about. We made the best of this coop because chicken math and all. So what we did is we made some modifications. You'll find a lot of prefab coops only come with these tiny little vents. And chickens really need to have windows on all 4 sides of their coop in order to stay safe and be able to stay cool at night in the coop. So what we did was excuse me, Rach, I had my husband get a saw and we cut holes on the 2 sides that did not have any windows. So we made our own windows. We put hardware cloth up with screws and washers to make sure that it was predator proof. And then in the winter, if I ever need to, it's super cold, I have these panels, the pieces that he cut out, that I can just plop right back in there to block any wind. But I actually haven't had to do that because this run is so well winterized. So super happy about that. The other thing I will mention, here's my nesting box. Again, this one lifts up. I don't care for that, but since I'm in a completely covered run, I don't have an issue with the snow building up. But you know, it is what it is. So in this run, I've got sand. I love sand. In here as well, though, I'm going to be adding in the spring just to keep it up, because you know, when you clean, you always take a little bit of sand with you. But look at how easy this is. It's ridiculously easy. I come out here every morning, and it takes me literally less than 5 minutes to sift through the sand and pick up any droppings. Look, super easy. Did you just drop? Yeah, you did. Can I get that? Excuse me, miss. Coming through. So, super easy. Scoop. And now my run and my coop are clean for the day. It just could not get any easier. So Missy, when are you going to start laying again? This is my youngest hen. This is Rachel. She's not quite a year. She just started laying in November. And I think she's mad at me because I have this new feeder I have in here. She stopped laying about, gosh, almost 2 weeks ago. Which makes me really sad because her eggs are beautiful. She's a well-summer. But yeah, so hopefully she'll decide to start laying again. And Carmel over there, who is an Easter egger, she lays the most beautiful pink polka dot eggs. Pink eggs with white polka dots. I love them. And I don't know what her deal is. She molted really, really hard in early September. Quit laying about mid-September and has not laid an egg since. So I don't know. We'll see. But they're still relatively young. My two white Easter eggers in here are 2 years old. So still relatively young, but they're going to start slowing down on their egg production now at this point. Hence chicken math. If you want to keep up your egg production, you cycle in new chicks every year. Right, girls? Right? We'll get our new babies in May. Hey. So anyway, thanks so much for hanging out for a little while. And next time we'll talk about equipment and different things that I've tried and things that I liked and worked well for me and things that were kind of a hassle, it didn't work out. So until then, enjoy a little chicken zen. Oh, that would be my hand. Silly.